So it's that time of the year again, when we all make some ambitious goals for ourselves. You know, like losing those extra pounds we've been carrying since last Christmas, or finally learning how to play that dusty guitar sitting in the corner of your room, or maybe you're like me, constantly promising to save more money, only to spend it on another set of novelty socks. Sounds familiar, right? Well, this time I decided to mix things up a bit. Instead of setting myself up for failure with a list of unrealistic resolutions, I opted for a single, seemingly straightforward goal. Drumroll, please. My resolution for the upcoming year is to be happy. That's it. No complex strategies, no detailed plans, just pure, simple happiness. Simple, right? How hard can it be to just be happy? Okay, maybe it's harder than I thought. My pursuit of happiness became a series of comedic misadventures. I tried to laugh more, but my giggles sounded more like a hyena's cackles. I attempted to smile more, but my grin ended up resembling a constipated gargoyle. I danced like no one was watching, only to trip over my own feet and fall flat on my face. I even tried hugging random people, but apparently not everyone is a fan of spontaneous displays of affection. Let's just say I got slapped more times than a snooze button on a Monday morning. I thought being happy meant forcing a smile, laughing on cue, or spreading joy to others. But all these efforts just left me exhausted, bruised, and ironically, quite unhappy. Turns out being happy is not something you can just force yourself to do. So I realized that maybe I was going about this all wrong. I mean, yes, happiness is a great goal, but it's not a switch you can flip on and off. And while doing what I love seemed like the next best thing, it's not always as straightforward as it sounds. Picture this. There I was, ready to immerse myself in my favorite activities. I dusted off my old guitar, only to break a string with the first strum. I decided to cook my favorite meal, but ended up setting off the smoke alarm. I even tried to get back into painting, but let's just say that my masterpiece looked more like a toddler's finger painting. Clearly, doing what I love was turning out to be a comedy of errors. And it dawned on me that it's not always about what we want to do, but about what we can do. Turns out doing what I love is not something that always works out. So I realized that maybe I was still missing something. I was trying to love what I do, but found myself caught in a web of dissatisfaction. I was like a hamster on a wheel, running round and round, but getting nowhere. I was doing everything right, wasn't I? I was working hard, putting in the hours, showing up every day, but the joy, the spark, the happiness, they were playing a high-stakes game of hide and seek with me. I was in love with the idea of loving what I do, but let's face it, not every day is a walk in the park. There are days when the sun shines bright, and there are days when the clouds roll in. There are days when you feel like you're on top of the world, and there are days when you feel like the world is on top of you. Turns out, loving what I do doesn't necessarily make me happy. So, what's the moral of the story? Well, it seems our quest for happiness isn't as straightforward as we'd like. You see, forcing a smile doesn't guarantee joy, and doing what you love, well, that's not always feasible. And let's not forget, loving what you do doesn't necessarily equate to happiness either. It's a conundrum, isn't it? But fear not, my friends, it appears that the secret to happiness is not found in one single resolution, but rather in a delicate balance of all these elements. It's about finding joy in the little things, embracing the challenges that doing what we love may bring, and cultivating love for what we do, even when it's tough. So here's to a new year, full of happiness, love and laughter, and remember, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. Happy New Year, everyone!